WASD just came out, and it's insane. My name is Enea, I'm a former Challenger ADC coach, and today we're gonna do a different video from the others. Many people made a WASD like show up on how like it works and all this kind of stuff, but today, me as a coach, I will show you the pros of the new change, so the WASD, the cons of like the old kiting stuff, and how it actually affects the coaching part of ADC. Is it harder to coach ADC? Is it easier after this change? We will see. Make sure to leave a like or subscribe if you're enjoying this video, and see you at the start. So guys, I want to start off with a general talk about how it works right now and what an ADC has to learn in order to like win a game, or what actually makes an ADC better than another one, right? So let's start up with a general concept, right? As ADC, or like every role, has a macro side, which is the map awareness, when to base, where to base, all this kind of stuff. And then we have the micro part, which is like the skill wise. Are you able to kite, for example, as ADC? Are you able to trade in the laning phase? All of this is under the micro skill. And of course, learning your champion and understanding his kit, it's also on the micro side, right? So what can we say? When WSD will come out, at least if it comes out in this way, kiting and spacing and parallel trading might be way easier than what we currently know. I will show you on practice tool as well later on. But those three concepts that I've mentioned here, that are usually really hard to explain, and I think that most of the low elo ADCs that I've coached in my life, I think at this point I coached around 1k people or something like that. So 1k people, all of them on the low elo had kiting, spacing and parallel problems. Most of these players are not able to climb because of their mechanics. ADC is an intensive mechanical role, so if you manage to avoid all the mistakes of kiting, spacing and parallel trading during a game, I mean, this makes it insane, right? Like every bronze player that I've coached right now could be able to kite just like me. The only thing that matters towards ADC, it's how you play your champion. Some champs will be insanely stronger than others because, again, the kiting will be different, and of course, we'll just have to adapt that to that if it's gonna like actually work in that way. Or some champs might actually need insane buffs. Like again, Jhin might need an insane buff because he's so slow compared to other champs in that context. He will never be able to space like a Jinx with that kind of commands. Macro wise, that's the issue. Like most of the ADCs are gonna play only macro. Like most of the ADCs, it's gonna be only you knowing your champion, and he has to be meta as well, because of course the ones who can abuse, like the champions, ADCs, that can abuse WASD better will be stronger. And then once you pick your best champion in that regard, you're just gonna need to learn how to play the game. That's insane. Like I think a good ADC, without knowing anything about the game, could reach masters. So that means that we might find people insanely skilled and not knowing when to rotate or like when to base in an Agilo game, which absolutely makes no sense. Imagine a competitive game where no one makes a mistake, right? There's no room for outplays. And guys, I'm not joking when I say it. I think most of the League of Legends fun is when there's a comeback, right? Have you ever like saw a competitive game and the hype was there, right? Your team was winning, or like it's the last game of a series. Your team is winning, you're like, no way, guys. They can never lose. Like this game is already ours. And then the enemy, or like the team that is ahead, right? They make not only a macro mistake, they might make a mechanical mistake. And then from that mechanical mistake, you know, get the game back. Did this ever happen to you? Like, have you ever saw that? That's the main issue. Now, if this change goes through, many people, many champs, many players could never make a mistake mechanically. So the only type of mistake that could happen is a technical one. So for example, you know, I am playing 4 champs mid, and then there's one bot side, okay? If they pick on the champion on bot side, then of course it's not related to the mechanics, but it's more related to the map state and so much more. But that's the only way of like making a mistake. Well, instead, making a bad flash, making a bad Q, making a bad W, all of that might be harder to punish, and also because no one makes a mistake, it could bring some serious problems on the competitive scene, even from my perspective. A good player could not be recognized if not by where he's pathing, when he's basing, the timers, when he's playing Drake. So it's just about timers. First of all, we're gonna go on YouTube. I think you pretty much know Vandirill, like everyone knows Vandirill really well. And we're gonna use this video, I'm also gonna link it down below. And I want to show you from, again, a technical perspective, how kiting will change after this change. So let's have a look. I'll take Ash, for example. It doesn't really matter what you pick, I'll be honest. But let's look at how the guy kites, right? Let's look at how it works. I haven't played in PBA myself, but you can watch in the video and you pretty much understand what's the difference, because we will play now, we will test it up by ourselves on practice tool after we show it. So as you can see, what the guy does, right? So what is he doing? He's using either W or D, in this case, like we don't know, he's using like one of those. And then he is just hovering his mouse on the enemy, right? So what's the difference compared to our kiting? No? So he's just gonna W or D, it doesn't matter which one, and then just click again, and click and click and click and click. What's the difference, guys? Like, if you see this, what's the actual difference from what a normal ADC has to play now, right? Usually, what you will see on Agilo right now is that the enemy, like you as a player, will click A on the enemy, or whatever you have your attack move set on. So you press on the enemy with your mouse here, and click, and now you have to kite back, right? So how do you kite back usually? You have to move your mouse from this position to this position. This is a huge problem for ADCs. Why is it so? Because if you move the mouse on the back, then to re-input an attack command, you have to again redo the cycle, re-put the cursor on your enemy, and then repress again the key. This kind of movement takes up a lot of time, and not only that, it can also like make it harder to dodge. You have to imagine that while you hit this guy, you're gonna press back, but now your cursor is on the back, so you can't dodge like spells coming from a specific angle. You get my point? Like, there could be so many spells where you're clicking here, and now your mouse is not able to dodge, like to dodge on the right. You'll have to move your mouse to the right, and then just press right click here. Okay? If that makes sense to you, the issue is that in this context, what changes the most is that the mouse of like the player always stands where he wants. So he's basically free. The mouse of the player is free to do whatever he wants, which is basically game breaking for ADC. You will have an easier time dodging, you will have an easier time kiting. It's gonna be so much easier because of that. Also, I don't know if you didn't notice, but there's also another thing that never happens in all those videos, which is auto-cancelling, right? Auto-cancelling. What is auto-cancelling? Auto-cancelling happens when you have an attack speed, let's suppose, like you have 0 and 70%, like 1 attack speed. Let's just say you have attack speed, right? And when you hit the enemy, there's an auto-down timer, which happens after you hit the enemy. So an example is, I hit the enemy, and I can't hit him before my auto resets, so I have to wait whatever my attack speed is. If my attack speed is lower than 1, then there's an issue, because you're gonna have to wait and standing still till the new auto comes off, right? But what's the point? When you have when you auto, you have two animations, right? The first animation, which is I'm gonna aim, and the second one, which is the confirmation phase. So what, again, the guy is doing is holding his mouse here, pressing the buttons, and then moving. But I can't move, you see, guys, I can't move. I can't, without moving my cursor, I'm not able to move. I have to move my cursor, click back, and then I can finally like do that. I have to do all those long movements in order to re-input an attack, which is a huge problem again. And imagine that you could kite this guy just by keeping the mouse here and then dodge wherever you want, whenever you want. So that's the first issue. That's the first thing that WASD doesn't have. The second one, as we said, is auto-cancelling, right? I'll show it to you and I'll make an example, right? So in this case, I'm never cancelling an auto. But what if you see the animation? I'll show you it way better, okay? See the animation. So the animation is I aim, you see? So I'm able to stop the auto before it goes. That's the animation. And if the auto goes off, then I can move, right? Look at that. Okay, now I'm stopping it, I'm stopping it, I'm stopping it, I'm stopping it, I'm stopping it. Auto goes off, and from there, I can make a mistake of like not autoing, right? As an example is, while I am autoing, I am in the first animation, but then I move. That's an example of like a cancelling, right? You see, I cancelled the auto. I cancelled it again. I cancelled it again. I cancelled it again. Like most of the times, if you are too fast, what happens with a low attack speed, especially in early game, it's that you are not able to put your auto off because you're actually trying to kite in between the autos. Many good players will try to do that most of the game, but the reality is that missing an auto is usually really hard when you have a lot of attack speed. An example is, if you have a lot of attack speed, it's hard because you're gonna attack most of the time, so it's kind of hard to like, you see, dodge an attack, like, or like even stop it. But the issue of like misplaying an attack is when you have really low attack speed. So let's take, for example, when you have no items or even a Doran Blade, that's the same thing. Let's take, for example, that, right? Look at that. It's so easy to cancel your auto. Like, it's really easy to cancel your auto or just not being able to like get it off. Especially when you click a lot, especially when you're moving out a lot. And especially in daily game phases, the second thing that WASD goes really well on is no misclicks. Okay? Like, you're able to never misclick. If you wanna hit that minion, you will hit it no matter what. Maybe you will standing still, like, by waiting and the auto, but you will never be able to, like, make a mistake of that type. Which is, again, another insane thing. So, as we said, the first thing is the mouse control. It's insane. And the second thing is no kiting mistakes at all, okay? That's the first two things that we can see from those videos, right? Some champions do need to kite in between spells or, like, use spells. And I think that the other thing from, like, this kind of new change, it's gonna be to use spells in between autos. Some champions have combos, and I think that using combos will be fairly harder because of course you have like different changes, and it's gonna be harder to play them compared to, again, other champs like Jinx, which just naturally needs to kite, okay? So some champions will be naturally harder, and some champions will naturally be easier. I will give my conclusion on that. I think that WASD is a good adapt, of course, for like new players. It makes the game so much easier. From my perspective of a player that took 10 years learning all these kind of like mistakes and stuff like that, seeing all of that just being able to like be learned in not even be learned, like it's kind of like automated, right? Because if you understand what I meant, the mouse always stands still, right? So you're not doing anything, it's just all automated. When we're talking about automated stuff, it's just really sad, because then where is the skill of the player? Where how can I do an outplay if the enemy never makes a mistake mechanically, right? And all this kind of stuff. So from my perspective, again, the WSD is too strong. It's surely a good adapt. Like, some people might have a lot of fun actually playing it out and at the start and so much more. But the main issue will be that there's a huge discrepancy between playing mouse and playing keyboard. I think that like forcing out people on playing WSD makes absolutely no sense. If someone wants to play mouse, since he plays for like mouse for 12 years, this has to be it. Am I against? Am I with? I think I am against, just because WSD should have come out way earlier if it was intended to be. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you wanna place a completely different way of playing the game, this should be added way earlier into the game, and you already wanna know that you want people to play in that way, instead of like adding it up like later on. That's just so stupid as a thing. And especially if you know that who plays in another way might have an advantage or a disadvantage. Both of the options is bad. Of course, like, imagine 12 years of like mouse, and then you are forced, right? Like, if you want to compete, if you want to do that, you're needing to change the settings that you just loved and you improved on, and all of that is just thrown on the bin, and basically everything is automated. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and this was helpful for you. I think WSD is such an hard concept to talk about, but we'll see what happens when it will come out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed, and have a nice day.